Yeah, so I'll take one of your statements there and then add to it in regards to my evaluation of Lincoln Riley right now after 1 year. So yes, he takes over a 4-8 football team. He takes over a 4-8 program at the very best possible time in regards to the new age of college football, the ability to fix a team quickly. And he takes advantages of that. He's he's moving in from obviously a talent wealthy team, and he brings in what turned out to be the best quarterback in college football and one of the best wide receivers and some other piece players from Oklahoma. So yeah, 11 wins, a Pac-12 championship game appearance. That is mission accomplished to the extent, to the final degree. However, because of the issues on the defensive side of the ball and because of his track record at Oklahoma, we now have to see, okay, how are you going to address this? This is the next step. This takes you from being extremely good coach to elite coach if you're able to address that.
Sure. Okay, Len Dawson, look, come on. Lincoln Riley isn't a proven head coach. All right. No. First off, what's your definition of a proven head coach? Is it Kirby Smart, Nick Saban? Like, unless you're Kirby, Saban, or Dabo, you're not a proven head coach? Because that really seems to be where you're going with this. Like, if you make several college football playoffs, if you win a pile of conference championships, if you win 10, 11, 12 games per year, this was Lincoln Riley's first season because of the Cotton Bowl loss. This was like Lincoln Riley's first season as a collegiate head coach with more than 2 losses. All right. And it was still a year in which he won 11 games. All right. If that's not a proven coach, like, what's your standard? Okay. Is it, he didn't win a national championship at Oklahoma. He hasn't reached a national championship game. Like, that is just arbitrary. And frankly, it's very unserious. All right. Amateur hour.
Yes. And here's another definition that needs to be placed on a term, depending on, we see the term, who's relevant? Is this program relevant? What does relevant mean? And, I've had zillions of chats with college football fans, and when it comes down to it, many of them think winning a national championship is relevance, and otherwise nobody's relevant. And I point out to them, we're talking about like 3 guys. So the next point here would be, so to me, winning against the best teams in the conference to get yourself in position to win the conference championship and then completing the deal by winning the conference championship, those are big games. If your big game is simply college football playoffs, then that's fine. That's your definition. That's not how I see it, because you have to beat the best teams in your conference. You have to win the conference championship typically to get to the playoff. Those to me are big games.
Yeah, and CE, name me another coach that has lost the biggest games of the season with 3 different Heisman winners. He coached 3 different Heisman winners. How many other coaches can say that? All right. Lincoln Riley is one of a handful of people who have coached 3 Heisman winners in the 153-year history of college football. Lincoln Riley is one of 2 USC coaches who have coached 3 Heisman winners, Pete Carroll being the other. Only 2 men have coached more Heisman Trophy winners than Lincoln Riley. That's Nick Saban and Frank Leahy. Only 2 men ever. Lincoln Riley is just the 2nd man ever to coach Heisman winners at 2 different programs. Tommy Prothro at Oregon State and UCLA in the 1960s. So, Lincoln Riley is one of 4 or 5 people who have ever done certain things in terms of the Heisman Trophy and in terms of getting 2 different teams, to a really high standard. Like, you're basically saying to these last few comments from Len Dawson and CE, you're basically saying unless you win the national championship, you're not relevant, you're not proven. So that basically just means that there are just 3 proven head coaches in college football right now: Saban, Dabo, and Kirby, and that's it. Okay, so there's no other proven coaches out of 130.
And as we sat here at this point last year,
not how a normal, rational person thinks about anything.
And if we were making that judgment with that definition, if we were sitting here 1 year ago today having the same conversation, Kirby Smart is not a proven coach.
That's right. Absolutely.
having come within an overtime of winning a national championship and then getting back to another national championship game and finishing basically living in the top 5 in the nation since 2017.
Yep, and you could say the same about Dabo going into the 2016 national championship game against Alabama. You know, the rematch.
Yep.
With Jalen Hurts, that he wasn't a proven coach until he beat Alabama in that 2016 title game in Tampa. So like that just underlies the absurdity of that kind of thinking. Like is Jonathan Smith of Oregon State not a proven coach? Is Mike Elko of Duke not a proven coach? Is Jim Harbaugh not a proven coach? All right. Like we could go on and on and on and on. And just the absurdity of that becomes very nakedly apparent very quickly.
Yes. Jim Harbaugh is probably the best example of that absurdity, just because of what he did in college, then in the NFL, then back to college.
Yes. And like this also means like that in 1981, Dean Smith was not a proven college basketball coach. He made like 5 Final Fours and 3 national championship games, but he didn't win the national title. So he wasn't a proven coach until 1982 when Fred Brown of Georgetown throws the ball to James Worthy, the guy on the wrong team. That's how Dean Smith won his first national championship. And he won his second one with the Chris Webber timeout against Michigan. But because those 2 players on opposing teams made mistakes in the final minute, Dean Smith's now a proven coach, but he wouldn't have been a proven coach otherwise. Get out of here.
Yes. He became a proven coach by the program that he built that just churned out juggernaut year after year after year after year. Tom Osborne, not a proven coach until the 1995.
Until 1995, yeah. Only in 1995 did he suddenly become a proven coach. Not with all those, 2 decades of Big 8 titles, Orange Bowls, and the whole lot. Exactly.